Oh no, we have some algebra to attack first. So they just put a little curveball in our way. But we can see that those angles, if these lines are parallel, which is given, that those angles correspond to each other. They're both acute little angles. They're both definitely equal to each other. So I can set them equal to each other. And then I can just figure out what x is from there. So if I subtract x from both sides, get rid of him from that side, I'll get 2x over here. Add 2 to both sides. 20 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2. So x is 10. So if x is 10, that means that this angle here, x plus 18, is 10 plus 18 is 28. So that angle there is 28. And then hopefully this angle will be that too, but I'll just check. 3x minus 2, 3 times 10 minus 2. It is indeed 28. Our algebra is good. So now we're just going to bounce around kind of like we did last time. These angles are both 28. That's what we're starting with. And we were given that this angle here is 75. That was given at the start. So let's bounce. I'm going to start with this one down here. He's vertical to this guy there. And then I know that he corresponds, if I want, to this one up here. If you try to picture this line with those two parallel lines and that transversal and ignore the rest, yeah, he corresponds to him. He's good. So let's get rid of that. So that's 28 up there. Vertical. Oh, and I could have also done it. It's just vertical to that. We see. And then I can do 180 minus 28 to get the ones that are supplementary to that. So that's 152. So he's 152 degrees there. Makes a lovely straight angle with that. 152 degrees there. 152 vertical to that. And now when I go to the corresponding ones up here, it's like this angle here corresponds to this whole thing up there, right? This line here chopped it, which we don't really like. So I'm going to make a note that that whole thing is supposed to be 152. Maybe I can come back to that later. And the same thing, oh, actually I can come back to it right now. I know that this whole thing is supposed to be 152 because that corresponds to that. So again, I'm trying to like picture this line with this line cut by that transversal and trying to ignore all the mess, trying to ignore this other line there. And I would definitely say that that angle there is 152, right? That whole angle there is 152 degrees. But when I put back in the rest of the picture, it's like, oh, look, he got chopped. And this part of it over here was 75 degrees. So if this part's 75 and the whole thing is 152, 152 minus 75, the rest of it is 77 degrees. So that's one way of getting that guy there, that's 77. And you could bounce up here and say that's vertical and that's 77, and then that's vertical, so that's 75. That's one way of doing that. If you didn't like that, let me show you another way. So before resetting, we were here, right? We had all our 28s. So now I'm going to just kind of hop around with that 75 and say he's vertical to that, which corresponds to that, which is vertical to that, and then the supplementary one is 105, and that's 105. So now if you like the triangle method better, because you don't have to split angles and such, you can look at that triangle there, and you can say, hey, I've already got 75 plus 28 degrees in my triangle, so I've already got 103 degrees, so that means that there are 77 left. 180 minus 103 gives you 77 left for that there. And if you backtracked in our video, that is what we got before, and that's 77. So that might be a little bit easier to picture than chopping that angle. Yeah, it's fun. And so the 77 plus the 28 gives you 105. That angle is 105. That angle is 105. They correspond. Everything is so pretty, even though I made kind of a mess of it. Okay.